Hello and welcome back. It's me, and it's been a few days since I did this, so apologies if this is a little different. But today we're talking about the history of religious freedom, and I'm going to focus especially on Jewish and Christian interactions with the Roman Empire, but more generally, ancient freedom of religion. And it will continue through tomorrow as well. There's the game. And today's challenge is not glass cannon, it's in the cards. Let's find it in the cards then, shall we? So, no item rooms. Instead, I just have a stacked deck, if you will. Oh, so I don't need the stars, so I'll go ahead and convert that to a key. So, religious freedom, religious. This is gonna be a bit of a cautious approach to this topic, because I am going to get into the depths of, how do I put this? The underbelly of Christian... Oh, that would be nice. Get back here. Every single time. Tomorrow is not going to be pretty. Let me put it that way. Because I'm going to talk about some very uncomfortable parts of history and how it relates to Christianity. Oh. Oh. I could have... I'm thinking of... I could have used the hangman to get through that. Anyway. So... Yeah, today I'm gonna try and keep things pretty sterile. We'll get into the real meat of it tomorrow, and maybe even the day after. There's a strength card. I was waiting for one. But let me start off with this general assertion that generally, in the ancient world, most religions were fairly tolerant. Not all, but many. Now, it is important to consider the distinctions here between religious tolerance and political religious tolerance, whether the tolerance is coming from the religion itself or from the culture or even legislature that existed around that same religion, but it's all kind of mixed up together because we're talking about ancient cultures, and generally their legal systems and religious practices were one and the same. Sort of. Sort of. I am generalizing. But there are a number of examples. Oh! Whoa, wait a minute. Yeah. Okay. This is foolish. Very foolish. I'll take it. And let me also go take that soul heart. I hope I don't get money now, or else that's gonna be awkward. Okay. Well, it's not... I was gonna say it's not awkward, but I haven't even got my reward yet. It really has been a few days. My brain is lagging in Isaac. Ooh. Give me time to read my notes. Cool. And nothing else. Nope, we go. Anyway, I literally don't remember what the last thing I was saying was, so I'll say this. Well, I guess I do remember what the last thing I was saying was. But let me say this. Here are a number of examples of religious tolerance in the ancient world. Again, not everyone in the ancient world was religiously tolerant, but it wasn't uncommon. Or at least I don't think it was. I'm not an expert on ancient history, but from everything I know, it doesn't seem like it. So, traders, generally, in lots of different cultures, traders were generally allowed to have their own religious customs and beliefs. 2 lucky pennies. I was not going to pass that up. Cyrus the Great's Achaemenid Empire. I hope I pronounced that correctly. It's been forever since I last looked it up. His empire... Okay, buddy. His empire taught religious tolerance. It was codified in law, even. And another name for his empire was the First Persian Empire, if I recall correctly. Ooh. The knife. Oh. I'll be risky. I'll be very, very risky. No. Oh, good. Now let me do that. And that. Yay. Oh boy. Let's see, Asoka the Great's Maurya Empire. I have no idea how to pronounce that. I think I saw that his empire in world history class like a decade ago. Once. So, forgive me if I have insulted any Indians. Like, Indians. From India. His empire had religious freedom, or freedom of religion in it, possibly because many Jews around his time. Whoa, a lot of help. Many Jews actually escaped. Well, around this time, it would have been either the Assyrians or the Babylonians, right? This is around the time of that empire. Many Jews would have escaped to India and had not a massive presence there, but a notable presence. Let me say that. I'm coming across real weak with the words today. Oh well. Ow. Do I feel like using it here? Or here? I don't know. Oh, another the Hanged Man. Okay. I'll use both of these then, I guess. Let's see. Genghis Khan! His empire had religious freedom, possibly because it was too large to, to be managed to that extent, but maybe not. Religious tolerance doesn't have to come from a place of convenience. Uh-oh. I almost walked into that. I do kind of want you, but I don't care. Yeah. Generally, ancient Greece and ancient Rome were also very tolerant of a variety of religions. Almost all of them, in fact. With Rome, at least. The Greeks, it varied at times, but again, generally they were tolerant. And I walked into that. The Romans, well, not sure if you knew this, but they didn't like Christianity. They also didn't really like Judaism either. So, I guess nothing's new. Sorry, I feel like that statement could have some weird implications. I just mean in regards to their treatment of Christians versus their treatment of Jews. Now, there is some nuance there, and I do not need the Wheel of Fortune. I'll let go of it. So, the Romans were initially, at least, tolerant of Judaism. Why was that? Well, it's because a lot of the ancient world, especially in the Mediterranean and the Middle East, had this idea that if a people group has been around for some time, it must be because their god is particularly strong. So even though the Romans did think the Jews were pretty weird, being monotheistic and all, they thought, well, it must be fine. And, oh cool, damage. It must be fine. They've existed for several centuries at least, so their god must be plenty strong. Arguably. And that was way too far. Oh well. But even then, Romans only really barely tolerated the Jews. At least in my opinion. Because, well, tensions were high, and the Jews already had, or the Romans demanded that people be part of their, that conquered peoples participate in the cult of the emperor, that is, sacrifice to the emperor. The Jews sort of got away from that by instead compromising and getting an agreement where they would sacrifice to Yahweh on behalf of the emperor. And the Romans were kind of like, yeah, okay, close enough. Sure, I'll use you. But tensions did rise, and a revolt did occur. In fact, there were actually 3 separate Jewish-Roman wars, although 2, depending on who you ask, 2 or 3. The first one is, of course, the most famous one that you learn about, at least I did, through Christianity, because the destruction of the temple is kind of important to Christian history. And to the New Testament, generally speaking, because when you talk about some of the various prophecies and political tensions at the time, yeah, that comes up. I'll death you. Hope you don't mind. The Emperor. Anyway, the first... Okay. I'll use Alges. There we go. Sure. The first Jewish-Roman War, also known as the Great Jewish Revolt, was between 66 and 73 CE, and it, according to Josephus at least, who's a fairly well-known and respected Jewish historian from around the time of Jesus, in his opinion, the last straw of the rising tension was the ending of the practice of sacrificing on behalf of the emperor. The Jews stopped doing that, and then shortly thereafter, the Romans decided to destroy their second temple. Super fan. That's kind of important to my channel's identity to finally come across that item. Final notes. Tertullian. I'll talk, I guess, more about why the Romans were intolerant of Christianity next time. But Tertullian was I mentioned him previously, but he's an early Christian apologist from Carthage, the first one to write in Latin. He is the first person to ever use the term freedom of religion, and he writes, "It is a human right, that is, humanus jus," the same use or juice from the past few episodes. That's my side note. Again, he writes, "A privilege of nature that every man should worship according to his own convictions. One man's religion neither harms nor helps another man. It is assuredly no part of religion to compel religion, to which free will and not force should lead us." I kind of disagree with, every man should worship according to his own convictions. One man's religion neither harms nor helps another man. That part. I kind of disagree with that part, but whatever. And, of course, I need to mention the Edict of Milan again in 313 CE guaranteed religious freedom throughout the Roman Empire, at least until the Edict of Thessalonica in 380, which established Christianity as the state religion and authorized punishment of other Christian creeds, such as Arianism. From Arius, not Aryan. It's not racial. And we'll talk about some of the less savory details next time. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something today. Maybe not. Today was more or less me warming back up to this, I guess, after a comfortable backlog. But I hope you were also entertained, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.